What's going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. Lots to talk about today. The sealed market is actually continuing to increase in price despite what a lot of people have said that it's going to do. You know, we're going to break down all the best plays in the market right now. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Let's get into it. Let's start off talking about Ascended Heroes. Now, I haven't talked about Ascended Heroes too much on the channel, just because we don't really like to talk too much about sets that haven't come out yet. But as it is coming out next week on Friday the 30th, for the US and the UK, I will very briefly touch on it. Ascended Heroes does look like a good set to me. Unfortunately, I don't think there's going to be much product about when it releases. And I'm certainly not buying into it for the first couple of weeks. And I'll give you my very brief reasoning why on that. In the US, it's a little bit different. In the US, there is the possibility that there will be a little bit more product around. With any new set at the moment, or basically any set, any Pokemon set at all right now, if you could see it in the wild for retail of any kind of product for MSRP price, it's an instant buy. Because you already have that increased value. Everything is selling for more than MSRP on the secondary market. Now, I'm not condoning you go and buy a product and sell it straight away. That is scalping. However, the value is already there when you buy it if you see anything for MSRP. So if you see any Ascended Heroes, pick it up by all means. In the UK, things are a little bit different here. In the UK, for Phantasmal Flames, which was the last release, we had what was called a staggered release, where all the product wasn't like quite ready in time, and we got like late printing, and it was just a bit of a mess. Same with Mega Evolution as well. With Mega Evolution, we didn't get like the booster boxes until like weeks afterwards. Ascended Heroes is going to be the same thing here in the UK. So as far as I understand, the only thing releasing here in the UK on the Friday is like the tech sticker packs, and they're just going to get eaten up straight away and get scalped on the secondary market or opened up on these rip and ship streams. Like, there's just too much demand for the amount of product that's going to be available on release. I've heard that the ETBs are going to come 3 weeks later, and then the booster bundles aren't going to come out until April sort of time. In the US, I'm not sure what the stock prices, also what the stock levels are going to be like on release, but I just get the feeling like Pokemon Company is still in big trouble with just being able to print to demand. Demand is still sky high. No matter what anyone tells you, no matter how many like clickbait video titles you see about the Pokemon market crashing or whatever, it's all nonsense, okay? We're still right at the top of a hype cycle with no obvious signs of it slowing down. I mean, it cooled off a little bit over the Christmas period, as things normally do in pretty much any financial market, not just Pokemon products. Okay, everything cooled off over Christmas. And Ascended Heroes, I just don't think there's going to be enough to go around. So me specifically, because I'm in the UK as well, and there's not going to be much product about, I'm just going to wait until more product floods on the market and we can actually see what's going on pricing wise. I'm not in a rush to buy into Ascended Heroes. If I have to wait 1 month, you know, that's not even that long, 4 weeks or 8 weeks to see what the market is doing once more product hits the market, see how Pokemon Company is handling restocks and that kind of thing. If I have to then pay, I don't know, 20%, 50% over retail at that point to buy into it, but I have the security that I already can kind of see what's going on with the data, how the market is receiving the set, then it's worth it for me to buy in at a later point, not FOMO, potentially pay in at a higher price, but still just buy in at market price on the secondary market. You still don't lose money because market is still that value. You can still sell it for whatever you bought in for. Do you see what I mean? And I don't see it coming back down in price anytime soon either, because I don't have the faith that Pokemon Company is going to print enough of this to really affect the price that much. I mean, we saw what happened with Prismatic Evolutions. They tried their best to print that set into the ground and like still just struggled to go below $100 on the average price point, and now it's rebounding back up in price. Now, I'm not trying to compare Ascended Heroes to Prismatic, but what I'm talking about is just the demand in the market. The demand in the market as a whole massively outweighs the supply of any products that Pokemon Company can put out there at the moment. And it's just like a perfect storm of a snowball rolling down a hill. Demand is just feeding into itself. And as products get more scarce, the prices go up higher, people FOMO in more. I'm not in a rush, guys. I will reassess how Ascended Heroes looks in about 3-4 weeks' time. I'll see whether I want to buy into it or not. I do think it's a good set. I think it's going to perform very well long term in 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. I think it's going to do great, but I'm not in a rush to buy into it initially. I want to see what happens with restocks. I want to see what happens, how well received it is in the market, how much the singles are going for, that kind of thing. And we're going to track everything, as we always do, on the channel for you. Right, that's enough about Ascended Heroes. Let's move on to Phantasmal Flames. Phantasmal Flames is in a very interesting place where the majority of the Pokemon influencer space wrote Phantasmal Flames off before it even came out. They said that it was a terrible set. They said that it was a short, small set. The Charizard was too easy to pull. The Charizard isn't enough to carry the set. All of this I disagreed with, and I was very vocal for weeks and weeks about disagreeing with this. And I caught a lot of flack for that. I caught a lot of hate for saying that I like Phantasmal and that I've fallen off. And even though I've made perfect predictions on sets for over 2 years publicly on this channel and 10 years off of YouTube as well, on top of that, that I've finally cracked and I've got it wrong, and I was wrong about Phantasmal Flames. I'm sorry, guys, but this just keeps happening over and over again, okay? I'm not trying to have an ego here, because that's not me, that's not my personality. But time and time again, I'm calling these sets. I'm going against the grain of what people say, and it's coming true. Phantasmal Flames is going up in price. Destined Rivals was the same. I was telling people to buy Destined Rivals before it even came out. And no, don't touch that. Don't touch Destined Rivals. It's going to be MSRP in no time. It's going to get printed into the ground. Never happened. Now you can see where Destined Rivals is. It happened with Fusion Strike. I speak to so many people now that watched my videos back 2 years ago when I was telling people to buy Fusion Strike. Back then, Fusion Strike was like $200, $250. And it was retail here. Pokemon Company... Pokemon Center, sorry, you could buy it in the UK for like the first year of my YouTube channel for retail, and I was screaming at people to buy it. £140. That back then was like less than $200. You could buy it direct from the source for a long time, and now it's like $1,000. Okay, it happened with Fusion Strike. It happened with Evolving Skies on this channel as well, guys. People were telling me I was stupid for telling people to buy Evolving Skies at $600. Because they're like, oh yeah, but you know, like it's already had its run and you've missed out, and why would you pay $600 for a modern booster box? Where's Evolving Skies now? Where's Evolving Skies going? Now, I'm not trying to compare Phantasmal Flames to Destined Rivals to Evolving Skies, because it's its own thing, okay? But time and time again, guys, if you subscribe to the channel, I make the calls. I make the calls that people aren't making. And look, it's going up in price, guys. Like, just look at the data. Like, that's all I need to say. Last week, average price, $244. Already more expensive than some Scarlet and Violet box. $244. Last sold. $264. It's up another $20. Look at this. 4 sold. These are from this morning, guys. $262. $262. $262. $264. It's continuing to rise up in price, because this is what I'm saying, guys. There is not the printing. There is not the restock on booster boxes that everyone keeps talking about. I knew that because it's been that way for a long time. It's been that way since Destined Rivals. Like, it's just, these things aren't new, guys. But everyone on Instagram just thinks that they've got the hot new take. A lot of these people, even though they've amassed big followings in a short amount of time, have only been around for 8 months. Yeah, they might have chucked 100,000 US into their displays behind them. You know, they might be flaunting Evolving Skies boxes behind them and trying to flex and show off. That doesn't mean they've been around for a long time. That doesn't mean that they know how to read the market. And Phantasmal Flames is the perfect example of that. And I'm sick of defending it, to be honest. Phantasmal Flames is a great set. There is not enough supply to meet the demand. It is getting ripped through at a crazy rate by these rip and ship streams as well. And I think it's just going to continue to climb up in price. I think we've got a monster on our hands. I've called it since day one. It's not an MSRP set like people say there are. And I know what's going to happen. There's going to be more people commenting after this saying, yeah, but there's a big printing facility that's coming in. Who cares? It's still not going to meet demand. And it's not going to meet demand for a long time because they are pulling sets out of the bag. Like, Phantasmal Flames is a great set. That Charizard SIR is one of the best Charizard arts in the whole TCG, full stop. Let's have a look at prices then. I'm sick of ranting on. $244 last sold. Buy it now, yesterday. New listing tag, bought out straight away. Okay. What's retail on one of these? But yeah, it's getting bought straight out for $244. Look, here's another one. $250. Buy it now from yesterday. Like, honestly, guys, I don't know how many times I have to say this, and it's creeping up there in price as well. Not only is it maintaining at the same level of some Scarlet and Violet boxes, it's increasing in price as well. It's going against what everyone else is saying. It's not going against what I'm saying. I've called this from day one, like literally day one. Last sold, eBay UK, £224. If you're new to the channel, I look at both US and UK prices. So wherever you are in the world, hopefully you'll get something out of this video. Before we move on, I want to show you this. Okay. Do I even need to say anything? I do need to say something because some of you will be listening without visuals because they'll be doing housework or something like that. These videos are meant to be podcast style. Okay, they're not meant to be a short little 10 minutes. Oh, look at this one set. No, this is once a week. Pop me on every Saturday. I will tell you everything that's going on in the market. You can put me on podcast style. You can get comfy, get yourself a nice drink, or you can be productive and do some housework. Let's then have a look at this. The Phantasmal Flames SIR Charizard, the card everyone wants. They're all coming back from grading. Now, these are people, this is being sold by PSA. So these are cards that people have graded with PSA and PSA has cashed them out at whatever percentage it is. I don't know what it is, 80%, 85%, whatever. And then PSA has then sold it on their eBay store. And just look at all these sales. These sales are all from yesterday. Okay, they're all PSA 10s. $2,197, $2,018, $2,000, $1,900, $1,900, $2,064, $1,950, $1,945. You can see the price rising live as the day goes on. From the 1950 range to the last sold $2,200. This is the same product being sold. This is a PSA 10. Now, how many people are saying right now, oh, you know, the set's going to crash because there's going to be all of these PSA 10s coming back from grading? Well, here they are. Here they are coming back from grading from the source. And they're selling. And they're selling for a decent chunk of change. Okay, like a serious amount of money. To put things into perspective, right, the Alt Art Lugia, I know the prices on that because I bought one this week. The Alt Art Lugia from Silver Tempest in a PSA 10 right now, under $1,000. Okay. The Charizard from Brilliant Stars, even cheaper than that. The Espeon from Fusion Strike, cheaper than that. I don't even know what the Gengar's at from Fusion Strike. This is like on the level of what's similarly priced. I don't know. What's the Moonbryon at right now? Or the no, not the Moonbryon. What's the Sunbryon at? Should we have a look? We're getting sidetracked here, but I'm going down a rabbit hole. See, I don't even know what the price is of it right now. What is it? Umbreon from Prismatic. PSA 10. Should we see? What's your guess? What's it at right now? Let's have a look at last sold. Is it more expensive? Whoa! When did it get to that price? Oh my gosh. Okay, maybe not as expensive as the Sunbreon. The Sunbreon last sold $4,295. $4,600 from PSA on an auction. What? Okay, Sunbreon's getting pumped. Okay, maybe on the level of what? The Rayquaza from Evolving Skies? What's that at? We're going down a massive tangent here, but I'm so interested. I'm getting like a lot more involved in like tracking PSA 10 slab prices, if you haven't realised. What's the Rayquaza going for? There it is. Okay, 1,600. 1,600 for the Rayquaza. And that was best offer accepted as well. So that went for less. Oh my gosh. I would much rather have the Rayquaza than the Charizard and save myself like potentially $500+. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Can we find one that's actually not best offer accepted? Sorry, I'm going on such a massive tangent here. Okay, $1,700. Still so much cheaper. Okay, best offer accepted again. Damn it. Let's find one that actually sold. There we go. 1,600. Wow. 1,600 for the Rayquaza alt art, like secret rare from Evolving Skies in a PSA 10. And yet the SIR Charizard is going for $2,197. That's nuts. That is honestly nuts. I'm telling you guys, Phantasmal Flames is a monster. Yeah, I do think that short term, that price will probably come down as more grading comes out. But the sealed's only going to go up, guys. I really do think that. Anyway, let's move on. Mega Evolution. God, that was a massive tangent. Sorry, guys. Mega Evolution. 240. It's holding at 240. It is still a relatively new set. I'm not seeing big restocks of the booster boxes. I'm not seeing them anywhere. I'm not seeing anyone talking about finding Mega Evolution booster boxes out in the wild or in vending machines or anything like that. So it's holding at that base price of the cheapest Scarlet and Violet sets. Okay, you're getting Paradox Rift, you're getting Scarlet and Violet base, that kind of thing. They're all sat at that 240 floor with Journey and Surgeon a little bit above that at like 250, 260. But Mega's a lot newer. So, honestly, I think this Mega era, guys, people are sleeping on it. They really are. I don't see Mega Evolution, like long term, falling much below this price, because you'll struggle to find any sealed booster box from any era cheaper than 240. So why would Mega Evolution base drop below that unless you see like a mass reprint of like multiple sets? But I just don't see that happening where they're struggling to bring out all the new products. You see what I mean? I think that anything sub 240 for any set is a good deal. Last sold eBay US 240. So it's right on that nose. I called it weeks and weeks and weeks ago, months ago, that $240 is the new floor for all sealed booster box products. Let's see. Last sold eBay UK 204 quid. That's not a bad deal. Non-enhanced version though, but it is creeping up there in price. Okay, Destined Rivals. Again, don't want to keep beating the same drum over and over again, like stressing the same points. Destined Rivals. We called it from day one. Okay? We told you to buy in when it was $200. I told you to buy in when it was $240. I told you to buy in when it was $250. Again, went against what everyone was saying. Everyone was like, oh, it's a mid set. It's only got a Mewtwo. The Mewtwo's not even that good. Should we see what the Mewtwo's going for right now? I don't even know what the Mewtwo's going for right now in a PSA 10. Let's have a look. Mewtwo, Destined Rivals, PSA 10, just to get a rough idea. Why not? We're fact-checking ourselves live. That's the gold one. That's the normal one. There you go. Auction, $11.25. Buy it now. Import from the UK, $1,200. There you go. Buy it now, US, $1,200. 1,300 new listing bought out straight away. These are all from yesterday. 1,200, 1,300. But no, so mid-set, apparently, if you'd have listened to people when it had come out. It's just crazy. I'm getting so sick of these people giving bad advice. And a lot of them live on Instagram. So I'm going to start taking over Instagram, guys. Like, I've never really had an interest in Instagram or like building a following on there. But I'm just so sick of like seeing bad advice that I'm just going to start making a lot more short form content for Instagram. So help me on that journey. Help me flush out all of the bad advice. Follow me on Instagram at PokePond1. Make sure you put the 1 on the end. Someone stole the handle. I don't really care. Like I said, I was never like focused on Instagram. I'm going to make a bigger push on that. I'm going to talk more in short form content about plays with like slabs and singles and stuff like that, because although the primary focus of this channel is on sealed, it's just about making money in Pokemon. It really is. Let's have a look at Destined Rivals then. You can see from the chart it's already doing crazy things. We have said that even when it was here, look, even when it was like $380, I told you guys, you still don't lose buying in at $380. This is a monster set. It is best in class for Scarlet and Violet. It's quite clearly best in class for Scarlet and Violet. It will continue to climb up in price. It will follow in the footsteps of the other best in class sets, like Evolving Skies, like Team Up, those big sets. I'm not saying it's going to reach the exact same price level in the same amount of time, but it's going to head in that direction, is what I'm saying. It's just continuing to climb up. It's actually one of the best performing sets of all time for the amount of time that has been out and the price. And they just didn't restock anywhere near enough Destined Rivals booster boxes. We're just not seeing that in the modern era at all. It's crazy. Let's have a look at prices then. Prices $421 last week on the averages. Now it's $447. Another one here, $450. It's just continuing to climb up in price. That's another 4.5% on last week, guys, when it's already the most expensive box on the market in the Scarlet and Violet era. It's crazy, guys, and it's one of the most recent. Last sold domestic. So when I say domestic, I mean US to US. $480. Okay, last week we saw one go for like $484 or something like that. And we were like, that's crazy. That's way over market. Now there's another one gone for $480. Yes, on last sold, there are cheaper ones. Look at this, $450. But these are imports, guys. $450, Canada. $460 from the UK. $436 with postage from the UK. Okay, I'm just looking at US to US and UK to UK. If you want to buy one in your own country on eBay, last sold yesterday. $480. Guys, what are we talking about here? It's the newest booster box out of the Scarlet and Violet era. And it's just overtaken everything so quickly. It's nuts. And I think it's going to keep going. And I tell you what, this big reprint or this big restock that's never been announced, but half of the market is just convinced that's going to happen. If that doesn't happen on Destined Rivals, you could have one of the most expensive booster boxes of the modern era when it's had enough time to run. You really could see it overtake Evolving Skies. I could see it happening if it never gets any more restocks or reprints. Crazy, guys. Crazy prices. And again, I just want to stress, you do not lose even buying in now at $480. People told me the same thing when I told them to buy into Evolving Skies when it was $600. That was 2 years ago. Okay, let's move on. I feel like I'm coming across like real like worked up and like negative, but I'm not at all. Honestly, guys, I'm like super chill. I find it funny, guys. I really do, because I don't know how many times I have to keep saying these things before people realize that all I'm trying to do with this channel It's to just share knowledge and share information. That's all I'm doing. All I'm doing is trying to help improve people's lives and increase their financial situation if they have the patience and the ability to trust in the process and hold product. Because I've been doing this a long time, I've made a lot of money from it, and I've also lived a long time without a lot of money as well. And I don't have a lot of money now, just full transparency. I don't have the money to be buying cases and cases every single week like some of my viewers do. Okay, I'm making some of my viewers a lot richer than me because they can afford to put in more money. But I understand. I really do understand what it's like to live with not much. I've been in two minds about in the future giving you some more backstory of like where I come from as like a more personal thing and my journey into Pokemon sealed investing and like more so you've got an idea of the financial, because I've never really talked about that before. I've been tempted to do it. Maybe I'll do it for 5k subs. Maybe I'll hold on and wait until it's like 10k subs, and then there's more story on the end. You see right up to the heights of the success. We'll see. We'll see. Comment down below if that's something that you want to see in the future. It's a very personal thing for me to put that kind of stuff out there. We'll see. Last sold eBay UK for £343. Hold on, it's not 400 yet. We'll be soon though. We'll be soon. Continuing to creep up there in price. Let's talk about Journey Together then. Journey Together is holding a little bit over that floor mark that we talked about. The floor being that 240 range. It's just hovering nicely at around about that 250 range and has been for about the last week. Last sold 254, 254, 250. I think that's a good price for it. When you're having a look on eBay, you're seeing eBay line up pretty perfectly with that as well. Last sold eBay US $248. I think that's a perfectly fair price for Journey Together. I don't think it's the worst set on the market. I think it should be a little bit above the lower sets that are sitting around the 240 mark. And not a bad play going forward. I think that going forward that will increase in value nicely over the next couple of years. Last sold eBay UK 174 quid. That's about market. But then, as with anything, like I said, whenever market is set at something, look at this: 174, 177. Let's find some more. 172. Market's around about 175 in the UK, but then you'll always get someone dump below market to get a quick sale. Look, new listing tag 156, way below market. Okay. That's what, like 15% below market, something like that. Quick maths, it's about that. Deals to be had in the market if you know your prices. And that goes for any set right now. There's always going to be people dumping, looking for a quick sale. Let's talk about Surging Sparks. Surging Sparks was in the increase like a few weeks ago. Again, climbed a little bit over this floor. Last sold 274. I think that's a little bit overpriced. There's another one here for 275. I think market is more sort of 260, 265. I think that's fair for it. Personally, I wouldn't pay 270, 280. I'd be looking more around the 260 mark for Surgeon if you can pick it up on the secondary market. And if you can get it under that, you're doing well. And we can see that on eBay here. Last sold eBay US from yesterday, 245. I think that's a good deal. Like I said, the cheapest boxes in the market for any Pokemon era, Mega Evolution era, Scarlet and Violet, Sun and Moon, you're not getting anything really below 240. So to get Surging Sparks, which is a little bit above average for Scarlet and Violet, for around about that 240 range, it's kind of a no-brainer. Decent pickup. Last sold eBay UK. Weird sale here. Look, last sale 260. That's way over market. And then you're seeing normal sales here from this morning, 208, 203, 205. But this 260, although it's like quite a bit over market, that's like about 20% over market. Let's work this out. At 20, so it's about 40 quid, a little bit over for, yeah, about that. It's quite a bit over market price, about 20% over market. It's not going to be long before surgeon is that price in the UK, and then that's just the norm. Things will jump up fairly quickly once a bit of time has passed. Okay, it's all about patience in this game. Okay, I'm always super shocked when I check prices on some stuff, especially stuff I haven't checked prices on in a while, and like stuff I own as well. I own stuff like in a storage box tucked away in a cupboard, and I might not have looked at it for ages, and maybe I've forgotten I've got it, or I know I've got it but I haven't checked the price in like 6 months to a year, and then I look at the price and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, when did that happen? Do you know what I mean? It happens all the time to me as well. Most recently, it happened to me with the PSA 10 Charizard from Celebrations. I picked that up quite a while ago now for 130 quid. Now they're nearly 400. Like, when did that happen? Again, it's because I'm just not like checking it regularly. Let's have a look at Prismatic Evolutions then. Prismatic Evolutions. What more can I say about Prismatic Evolutions? It is still incredibly cheap. It is climbing back up in price. They struggled to print it into the ground. They struggled to get it below $100 at this point here. Again, even though it's climbing up in price, even though it was in that $110 to $100 range back in December, and oh no, you got to pay an extra $30, $40 for it now, that's still nothing. Okay, this set is going to run so well over the next few years. Again, patience, give it time, give it its chance to run. Okay, Prismatic Evolutions, I'm telling you now, the Elite Trainer box is going to $500. Okay, it will take years, and I'm not talking about months. It will take years, multiple, for it to go to $500. But there's no doubt in my mind that it will go to $500. So buying in now at $125, it's a no-brainer play to me. I own quite a bit of it. I had a big clear out of my ETBs, even though I didn't really want to, just to clear some space, because I really needed to clear some space. I had a lot of ETBs, but I kept... Did I keep all of my Prismatic? I think I did. Yeah, I kept all of my Prismatic, though, because it's so stupid to sell it now at this point. It's right at the bottom of, like, where it's going to go. It's still so cheap to buy into. And like, blink and you'll miss it. Honestly, it's going to be one of those sets, exactly what I'm talking about, that you put it away for a couple of years and then you check on it and you're like, oh my gosh, it's $500 now. When did that happen? That will happen. People will FOMO in so hard into Prismatic because at the moment they're too used to it just being sat around for, oh, it's $100. Oh, it's $120 now. Oh, it's $130 now. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't seem like it's like shooting up there in price, but it will. It's one of those sets that's just going to accelerate in price once it starts moving and going. I mean, it's already started moving. The train has left the station and it's just going to keep slowly picking up speed, and it's going to get faster and faster and faster. And I'm telling you, once Prismatic starts breaking $200 a box, $250 a box, it's just going to start going faster and faster and faster, and it's not going to stop. I'm telling you. Calling it here. Like, that's what this channel's all about. I'm making these predictions that you're not getting anywhere else. You're really not. Last sold eBay UK 130 quid. Like I said, creeping up there in price. It's already left the station. Okay, the price has already started increasing. It's increasing slow. It will start off slow. It will just continue to build steam. Think of it like a big, unstoppable steam train. Okay, the engine's just going to get hotter and hotter, and it's just going to get faster and faster and faster. At first, the gains are going to be slow and take a long time, and then it's just going to be exponential. The gain in a year will then happen in 6 months, and then the gain in 6 months will happen in 3 months. It's just going to keep going. It's going to keep rolling. Prismatic is a great buy. Let's move on, otherwise I'm going to be talking forever. Which I could do. I easily could do. Those of you who have been part of the channel for a long time now will know that I have no issues just talking away. By the way, no cuts in this video. Unless I really need to cough or sneeze, this is just me. I'm just talking away, podcast style. I could talk about Pokemon all day. I really could. I wonder if I could do like a 10-hour live stream and just keep it going, talking to myself. I reckon I could. I definitely need some drinks though on the way. Comment down below if you want to see the 10-hour live stream. Maybe I'll do it one day. Maybe we'll do it for like 100,000 subs or something crazy like that. 241 last week for Paradox Rift. This week 250, but multiple sales over the last few days in that 240 range. Paradox Rift is like a really good way of like judging where the floor is in the market. And I'm not saying that to try and be horrible to Paradox Rift. I'm just being honest. When Paradox Rift is performing well and climbing up in price, everything is performing well and climbing up in price. It's a really good like temperature gauge of the market. Okay, if Paradox starts increasing in price, generally everything will start increasing in price. If Paradox starts falling in price, it's a bit of a warning sign, but not too bad, because Paradox, if anything's going to fall, Paradox will fall first. I'm trying to like put that across in a way that doesn't sound horrible to Paradox Rift, but it's almost impossible. I said that at this point here, Paradox is the cheapest it's ever going to get, and it's actually a great buy. It's still a great buy at this 250 range. To be honest though, for that price, I'd rather try and scoop a cheap Surgeon or a cheap Temporal or something like that, or a cheap Journey. Or, let's be honest guys, for 240, you can get yourself a Phantasmal. And Phantasmal hasn't even had any time to run yet. No time at all, and it's increasing in price. For that price, I'd rather buy a Phantasmal, I think. Some of you will disagree, yeah, but Phantasmal's in print forever. But yeah, but that's only like valid if they can actually print it. The potential to print and it being in print window only makes sense if they actually print it. Looks like they're struggling to print things, if you ask me. Last sold Paradox 241. Like I'm saying, guys, like nothing's a bad play at 240. I really don't think anything is a bad play at 240. It's just the whole market will move above 240 given enough time. Paradox will increase in price. I could see a $500 Paradox in the future. I don't doubt that that will happen, but it's going to take years for it to get to that point. It's a put it away box, forget about it for a few years, look at it and be happily surprised. Okay, let's move on. Last sold eBay UK. 172, 177. Again, one of the cheapest boxes on the market, guys. It's so dirt cheap. I actually don't own any Paradox Rift. Is that true? Yeah, I own nothing. I own no booster packs, no sleeve packs, no ETBs, no booster boxer. I own nothing of Paradox Rift. I could not care less about Paradox Rift, but I still think it's going to double in price and go to $500, given enough time. Let's then talk about Temporal Forces. Temporal Forces I do own more of. I've been saying this quite a lot recently. I think that Temporal is overpriced. Last week it was like averaging, let's see, 17th was last week, 268. Last sales, 269. So it's flat with a couple of sales over the last couple of days up to as high as 284. That just seems overpriced to me. I think that it will reach that price eventually, as the market rises up, as the floor rises up, but it's just overpriced. For 280, there's just much better sets that I'd rather buy into personally. But I own a lot of it because I got it cheap. Last sold eBay US. There you go. See, eBay always knows better. Like, the secondary market on eBay is always the best gauge of what the price really is. Here you go. Last sold, 240. I told you it's overpriced at 270, 280. And eBay is agreeing. Look, you can get a nice sealed minty box sold yesterday. eBay US. Look at that. That box is pristine for $240. Perfect. That's where it should be. That's a good deal. Anything's a good deal at 240. Last sold, eBay UK. Look at this, 161 still for temporal. It's just so cheap. You don't lose at that price, but you're not going to get rich overnight. Put that away for a couple of years, you'll be laughing. Let's now talk about another titan of the Scarlet and Violet space. The 151 Elite Trainer Box. I was telling you guys here, back in December, it's on sale. It should have never dropped down to, it went down to 350, but they didn't print any more of it. And now it's at all-time highs again. It is shooting back up there in price, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down. Last week, it was 392 on the averages. Last sale, 442. So it's up $50. 50 on 392. It's up another 12.7% on last week. And that's all-time high, right? Let's have a look at the average price chart. Yeah. Over all-time high and increasing in price. Don't think they're making any more of it. 151 is a monster. Again, it's still so expensive right now, but they're not making any more of it. This will become a desirable collectible. It's not just about the set. It's not just about the set value. I mean, it's a good set anyway. It's about the collectible. The ETB becomes the collectible. And it's just going to keep increasing in price, guys. Last sold eBay US, 400 on the nose. Multiple sales at 400, bought out with new listing tags. Look at this. The PC ETB is breaching $1,000 now. 924. Nuts. Crazy set. Love it. Love my 151. Still a good investment. Even at this price, I only see it going up. It will contest $500 real soon. I'm telling you. Last sold eBay UK, 298. I think anything sub 300 or around that 300 mark is a crazy deal. I think in the UK it should be pushing 400 quid. 310. It's your opportunity to buy in. There's no way that this doesn't push over 400 quid this next year. And then the PC ETB is like under 600. When the US is pushing $1,000, guys, it looks a bit cheap to me. It just really does. PC ETBs, I've been saying this a bit recently. I'm not saying they're bad investments. I think they're actually good investments. They are just a lot more risky. They're a lot more volatile. More potential upside, more potential downside. That's just what you've got to understand about sealed PC ETBs. Potentially, yeah, really good investments. I've never said that they're bad investments. They're just a lot more risky. That's all it is. But with more risk comes more upside too. Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade kind of chilling at around about this $300 mark. As everything is kind of like, the bottom of the market is like 240, 250. Twilight is just looking cheaper and cheaper to me. The Greninja in a PSA 10 is like doing bits as well. It is expensive. If you haven't looked up the price on that any time recently, have a look at that Greninja and what the PSA 10 is going for that. And $300 for the sealed booster box when you're getting temporal selling on TCG for like 280 sometimes, and Twilight's going for 300. Like, it just looks a bit cheap. It looks like this is a good opportunity to buy into Twilight. Last sold eBay US. Look at this, sub 300, 289. I think that not only is it a good price to buy into, I think that 300 is like a stable base price for it with a lot of potential for it to leapfrog and push up higher over all-time highs over the next year. Last sold eBay UK 260. Look at this. Someone dumped one yesterday. New listing tag, so someone bought it out straight away. 219. That's so cheap, guys. For 219, you will struggle to get a non-enhanced Mega Evolution base set booster box. But you can get a sealed Twilight. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Sometimes you see prices and they're so low, even if you don't want to buy anything right now, you have to buy it. Because that is just buying in at 20% below market price. And it's a nice sealed box. Look, it looks mint. Looks absolutely mint. Lots of deals to be had in the market right now. Paldea Evolved. Second most expensive booster box in the era right now. behind Destined Rivals. Just seems to be sat at around about that $400 range. Couple of sales above, 405, 409, 415. It's sitting at 400. Again, don't worry about where Paldea Evolved is going to go over the next week or 2 weeks or month. I think Paldea Evolved is at the stage where you buy in at $400 now, $450 even. You could easily get a nice minty box for 10% over market at $440. Set it and forget it. It goes to $1,000 within 5 years. I do think that'll happen. Probably a lot less than 5 years, but worst case scenario, I think Paldea Evolved hits $1,000 in 5 years. I don't think that many people would disagree that that is not a quite likely scenario to happen. So this is what I'm trying to get across in these videos, guys. Like, although I'm giving you the play-by-plays each week and telling you where I think things are going to go in the next week or month, it's not about trying to time the market. Okay, you might save yourself $10, $20 by buying in at just the right time, but you also might miss the play and end up paying an extra $40, $60, and then FOMO into it. Okay, any of these sets that I'm going through, any Pokemon set out there right now, any set, I think that you could buy now and it's going to be more expensive in 5 years' time. You're going to make money. If you start picking the best in class sets, your Paldea Evolved, your Destined Rivals, your Prismatic Evolution, your 151, your Paldea Fates, your Evolving Skies, your Fusion Strike, your Lost Origin, you've got so many options, okay? If you pick your best in class sets and you put them away for years, you'll make some crazy money. That's what you really need to focus on, not where the market's going next month. Or that's what all of this influencer space thrives off. What's happening in the market right now? What happened in the last 7 days? Oh no, this PSA 10 card dropped $50 this week. That means the whole sky is falling. No, because it's still up 500% over the last 6 months. Do you see what I mean? No one ever zooms out and looks at the bigger picture. That's what it's all about. And I'm telling you what, time goes by so fast in this hobby. Trust your gut feeling. Buy into the stuff that you like and the stuff that you know is good sets. And you will do very well out of this. And subscribe as well. Subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. And follow me on Instagram too, because I'm going to take over Instagram. I'm going to take down all of these rubbish investors that are on Instagram. Not everyone on Instagram is rubbish, by the way, but there's a lot of them. Last sold eBay US 450. See, that's more than it has been recently. Okay, it was around about that 400 range. It would have tried to compete with Destined Rivals to take the crown as the most expensive box this week, but there was a sale of Destined Rivals this week, last sold for 480. So it's a little bit behind in second place. Me personally, I'd rather have a Destined, even though a Destined is much more recently printed and a lot more potential to be mass reprinted and mass restock. I'm telling you what, guys, Evolving Skies, I know I keep going back to it, but Evolving Skies had big reprints towards the end of its print cycle. It did not affect the price one bit. Not one bit. The secondary market just stayed exactly the same. And everyone talked about it when they knew the reprints were coming. Oh, here we go. And everyone started dumping them and selling them. And then they came out. And then like a week later, 2 weeks later, it was back at all-time highs. I think the same will happen with Destined Rivals. It's already like cemented itself with like enough hype and enough like perceived value. That's the whole thing in this market, okay? Something is worth what someone will pay for it. And I'm telling you, if Destined Rivals got a big reprint right now, it will come and go and get eaten up within a week or two, and then it'd be right back where it was. It ain't going to make any difference whatsoever. Anyway, last sold, Paldea 450, last sold in the UK 380. They're creeping up in price. Honestly, they're not letting Destiny Rivals run away too quickly. They're snapping at its heels. Paldean Fates. Paldean Fates back there. Is it pushing all-time highs? Looks like it is. 284 last week. This week, 294. What was its all-time high? 296. So it's so close. It's $2. It's less than $2. It's $1 and a cent. It's like, it's less than 1%. It's less than 0.5% off of its all-time high. It's right back up there, all-time high. And we called it. We told you guys in the winter when it was coming up to Christmas. We said it shouldn't be this price. It's on sale right now. Get in, buy in. That's why you subscribe down below. I'll give you all the plays. Each and every week, I tell you what's cheap, what you should be buying into. Now it's back pushing all-time highs. And it will continue to go as well. The Bubble Mew is a monster. The Charizard in that set is a monster as well. I was looking down there if I got the slab there. No, I've put it away. I used to have it on my desk, the slab, the Charizard. I really wanted to buy the Bubble Mew as well. But the Bubble Mew is too expensive for me to buy in a PSA 10. I can't justify it, and I don't want to buy it in a 9. I was tempted to buy it in a 9. I was between buying that in a 9 or buying, like I said, the Silver Tempest Lugia in a 10. So I bought the Silver Tempest Lugia in a 10 for a little bit more because I love that card. Interestingly, those of you who don't know, I like to collect like real like dark themed cards. And that is like a real grail card for me. So I'm also really mad at myself for not picking it up sooner. I know it sounds very cliche. Everyone always says that, oh, I should have bought it when it was cheaper. But honestly, I should have. Like, I looked at it last year in a PSA 10 when it was 600. I saw it in an LTS for 600. And I didn't really have the spare disposable income at the time, so I didn't buy it. I also saw the raw copy not long after it came out for like 250. I should have bought that as well, but I didn't. And yeah, I bought it for 810 last week, right up there at all-time highs. 810 quid for the PSA 10 Lugia. It's on my Instagram if you want to see it. Yeah, really happy with that. That is definitely a personal collection thing, but it's also an investment as well. Like, if it does do crazy, crazy numbers in the future, then I'll consider selling it. But it's definitely a personal collection for me. Anyway, PokePond story time. It always happens. Let's move on to the Sword and Shield era. Let's talk about the King of the Jungle himself, Mr. Evolving Skies. Still performing really well. Let's have a look at TCG. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales over the last week. All of them over $2,500. Most of them in the $2,600 mark. Really, really positive to see. Last sold eBay US, $2,500. I think that's the new floor, guys, $2,500. Again, we can talk about short term. We can talk about, oh, but yeah, in 1 month's time, there might be one box that sells for $2,300. Yeah. But where's this box going to be in a year's time? Where's this box going to be in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, 4 years' time, 5 years' time? It's not going to be $2,500, I'll tell you that. It's not going to be $2,300. You don't lose buying into these boxes if you hold them. This game is all about patience. It's not about get rich quick, okay? If you want to get rich quick in Pokemon, the plays are scalping. Not that I condone any of this. I'm just telling you. I'm being straight up and honest. If you want to get rich quick, scalping. However, scalping is not a scalable business model. So you've got scalping, you've got grading. You can get rich quick with grading if you know what you're doing and learn your craft, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of manual work. Vending. You can get rich quick vending if you do all the shows, have a storefront, blah, 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 or have a store, have an online store. Or, fifth option, didn't even think about that, rip and ship. You can also get rich putting in the time. But again, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of logistics. You've got to put together all those packages after stream. It's a lot of time. It's not something that I want to do personally, so I don't do it. Me, I'm quite happy with the, you could call it a lazy approach. The more hands-off approach of just like analyzing the data, try and work out what the trend is going to be before the rest of the market catches up. buy sealed product from eBay, so I don't have to stand in any lines or anything, gets delivered to my house. All I have to do is take it from my front door, put it in a storage box, or drive it to a storage unit or another person's house, perhaps, maybe a parent's house, maybe a partner's house or something like that. Store some product somewhere else, forget about it. For me, I much prefer that business model, but it's not a get rich quick, guys. It's a get rich slow. Rudy said it perfectly this week. Shout outs to Rudy. He is the godfather of sealed investing. He was a big inspiration for me. Okay, I was sealed investing at about the same time his early videos were coming out. But I didn't discover him until years later, and he did help influence me into the whole YouTube space. Credit to him, homage to him. He is the king, he is the GOAT. If you don't know who I'm talking about, then that's fine. And a lot of you will know who I'm talking about, though. Rudy is the GOAT, shout out to him. Let's see, last sold eBay UK, still over $2,000. And that's on an auction as well. Positive to see. No massive change up in price, but what we're seeing is multiple sales at where market has been, and where market has been at a nice solid point for the last week or two. So that's showing that the buyers and the sellers are in an agreement that 2,500, 2,600 is a fair price for this. This 2,500 buyout from yesterday is a new listing tag as well. So it got bought out, snapped up straight away for that price as well. So really positive to see. When you see Evolving Skies not moving right now, it's not a bad thing. Seeing multiple sales at 2,500 though is just like a really, really positive thing for the set. Okay, it's reaffirming that it should be up at those values. Fusion Strike then. Fusion Strike is a bit of a weird one because we've got a weird last sale on here, and I'll go through it. Okay, so last week average price was $8.97, but we were seeing multiple sales at around about that 1,000 mark. Last sold 1,200, which is above market, like significantly above market. So what was it, $8.97? So that's like $300 above the average price. We were seeing multiple sales at $1,000, so that is $200, which is 20% over market. And you can see that the last sales were at that $1,000 mark. So we're going to ignore this crazy 20% above market last sale, and we're just going to look at the last few on TCG and just see that really it's at 1,000. It's chilling at 1,000, which is pretty much all-time high for average prices. It's great. It's really positive for it. I think it's where it should be. I think it's still going to have a really good year and start pushing these prices more over the next year. 1,200 will become the norm in a short amount of time, I think. Last sold eBay. There you go. Right back on that $1,000 mark. And that was from 2 days ago. You had to go back 2 days to find a Fusion Strike sealed on eBay US, across the whole eBay US. Look, if you don't believe me, look, I'll go through it. Look, this is last sold, Fusion Strike booster box. 2 days. Interesting. Less and less on the market. Look at this. Sealed case of ETBs. $23.50. Gosh, that seems expensive to me. Anyway, last sold. eBay UK, $7.20. This is nuts, guys. This really is. Like 18 months ago, I was scooping these up for $300 and it felt expensive. This is what I'm saying, guys. Like time in the market on best in class sets, and you'll be surprised. You will be very surprised. 720, 740, 780. Is that the highest we've seen? If it's not the highest we've seen, 780. I can't remember the highest price I've seen for every single set on both US and UK prices over the entirety of my life looking at prices. I can't remember that much data in my head. But 780 is right up there at all-time high, I think. Maybe we saw one go for like 820. Maybe we saw one go. But yeah, market is moving up, guys. Sword and Shield is looking like a good play. Um, Lost Origin, 697 last week, 726 now, 734, 750, 750, 750, creeping up there in price. I've said it's undervalued. If Fusion's at 1,000, Lost Origin should hit an all-time high of 900 pretty soon. Okay, over the next 3-4 months, I think that Lost Origin starts creeping up and contesting $900. It'll take a while for it to break 1,000, I think. Potentially end of the summer if the market still runs good. Maybe it'll take longer. Maybe it'll take till the end of the year, till Christmas. But who knows? If there's a big run on Sword and Shield, there's not a lot of people selling. Like, that's what people forget. Like, there's always going to be people selling Sealed Lost Origin on eBay. But selling Sealed Lost Origin on eBay for a reasonable price, that's a lot less people. And once those start get bought out, all of a sudden the price jumps to the next person who's asking maybe 10% over market or 20% over market. And if you really want one, you're going to pay it. And then the price jumps. That's what happens when these products get a little bit older. It becomes a seller's market. They start dictating the prices. Last sold eBay US 769. See, it's creeping up there in price, guys. It's still undervalued though. Last sold eBay UK 628. I don't know why people do this. The first picture they take is the back of the box. Very bizarre. Don't know what's going on there. I'll quickly whiz through some of the others. Brilliant Stars, right up there at all-time high. But like chilling at all-time high. 570-ish last week. 568 this week. Sale there for 600. Like I said, chilling at all-time high. You can see on the chart that it is at the highest it's ever been, and it's in the perfect position to have a good run this year. Same with Silver. Silver, so close to its all-time high. All-time high on the averages, 489. Last sold, 480. $9 off of its all-time high. Poised in a position to leapfrog up and have a good year with Brilliant Stars. Chilling Reign, exactly the same. Chilling Reign, all-time high, 578. Last sold, 540, 550, 574. Right up there at all-time highs. Within 10% of its all-time high. Chilling Reign. Silver Tempest, within a few percent of its all-time high. Brilliant Stars, at its all-time high. All three of those sets are going to have a good year. All of the Sword and Shield block, I think, are going to have a good year. The best in class, your Evolving Skies, Lost Origin, Fusion Strike, Brilliant Stars, Silver Tempest, Chilling Reign, all of them are going to have a crazy year, I'm telling you. Crown Zenith, the same, continuing to go up in price at all-time highs on the averages. Last week, 226, 250. Up 10% this week. What are we talking about, guys? 220 last sold. 220. Right up there at all-time highs. I think it's only going to climb over the next year. Pretty safe place to put your money if you ask me. Last sold eBay UK. 234. 230. Look at this. 260. That's the highest I've ever seen one go for in the UK. That's nuts. Full perspective. What is 260 in dollars? £260 in dollars. That's a lot. $352 someone paid for that in the UK with the current exchange rate. Absolutely crazy. Right. Let's finish off the episode. Let's talk about something a little bit different. To finish off the episode, each and every week, we like to look at something a little bit different. We like to have a look at what's been selling and pick out something unusual that we have seen selling. This week, we can see that yesterday on eBay US, you have Pokemon Vivid Voltage 4 check lane blister packs. Let's have a better look at them here. Vivid Voltage was one of the worst performing sets of the Sword and Shield era. You can buy right now, well, someone did yesterday, for $30 US, 4 sealed check lane blisters of Vivid Voltage, which is like a mid-era Sword and Shield set. Okay. Came out quite a long time ago. came out. In fact, I've got the date here. I looked it up. November 13th, 2020. 5.5 years old now. $30 for 4 sleeve blisters of quite an unpopular set. It's basically, it's got the chunky Pikachu in it, and it's chunky Pikachu or bust. There's like nothing else in that set that's worth anything. Okay, so $30. I don't need a calculator for this. $30 divided by 4, $7.50 a pack right now for a well out of print sealed check lane blister. Is that less than retail? Like, what did these retail for? That's what I want to know down below in the comments. If you're from the US, what do you think this check lane blister originally retailed for? It's got to have been at least $7. It's got to have been what, $6.99? $7? And now it's $7.50. Like, how many years later? 5.5 years later. So if you'd have bought this back then and you thought, yeah, that's a smart buy, I'll put that away, I'll make money. You held this for 5 years and kept it mint, you made $0. It's just interesting. It goes to show that not everything is gold in this hobby. Sometimes it's best to pick the best in class sets. Now, if you'd have had a sealed check lane blister of one of the top 5 sets, or one of the top 6 sets of Sword and Shield, if this was Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, Lost Origin, Chilling Reign, or Brilliant Stars or Silver Tempest, I guarantee this goes for more than $30. It's just something interesting that I wanted to point out. I'm not saying this is a good play. I'm not saying that you should buy this now because it's out of print. I do think it will go up in value, these 4 check lane blisters. If you hold on to that for another 5 years, it could be double the price. But what I'm saying, guys, is that it's interesting how these never really had a run. This particular product might have looked like a good play at the time, but here it is, selling 5.5 years later for $30. Comment down below what you think. Would you pick this up now? It's interesting. I pointed it out because it's different, and it gets your brain thinking about a few different things. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Please do like the episode, hit the thumbs up button. It does really help push my content out there further. And if you've got to this point, come on guys, you've got to like the video. You've sat and listened to me. I don't know how long I've been going. I can guess right now it's been for over an hour. It always is over an hour once I get chatting. If I had to make a guess, okay, I honestly have no idea how long I've been talking for. If I had to guess, I'd say we're somewhere between an hour and 10 and an hour and 20 minutes. Somehow it always just ends up that length. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. Have a look at the timestamp now, see if I'm right. See how good my perception of time is. Anyway, like the video, please. Subscribe down below if you haven't already to never miss an opportunity. Follow me on Instagram as well. More short form content coming on there. I'm going to take over Instagram at PokePond1. Help me with that task. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and peace.